Welcome back, guys, where the truth don't get sugar-coated. Today we talking about this Spirit Airlines. 17,000 people lost their jobs, 17,000 out of work. 17,000 people don't know how they supposed to pay their bills. What are they supposed to do? You just up and tell somebody at the last minute that their job is completely gone? It's over? Folks don't even know what to think at this point. It was a guy on there talking about it was almost time for him to retire. And then this happens. Just like that. A big shutdown. And it's crazy. But we go play some clips because a lot of people talking about it. Different ways they talking about it. Funny, sad, happy, mad. Different ways they talking about what's going on. Let's play these clips.
Every single thing when you think about it. Take a listen to Sean Duffy.
This morning at 3 a.m., Spirit Airlines ceased operations. So what that means is Spirit does not have airplanes in the air flying as of this morning. Also, their call centers are closed and they don't have staff at ticket counters.
So basically, if you had a flight booked with Spirit Airlines, there's no one there to help you right now. And there's no telling when you'll be getting your money back for flights that have already been booked. So when you think about that, will these people even get their money back? Especially if you're stranded and you have to rebook a flight. What if you budgeted for where you were going and don't have money to come back? Are you going to stay stranded wherever you are? So I guess my question to you is, you saw how this went overnight. Do you think any other airlines are going to be next? Or do you think prices are going to go really, really high and skyrocket for the summer so that these airlines can stay in the sky? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
We have to talk about Spirit Airlines. They just shut down and ended operations after 34 years, and we got to talk about what this actually means in the grand scheme of things. So first of all, I'm seeing people already trying to oversimplify the blame here. And to be clear, seeing people try to say this is all only Joe Biden's fault, I just need us to actually try to critically think, please, dear God, stop being so simple-minded. It's so dim. All right. This was a slow build of bad decisions stacking on top of each other. But what's important is how fast and accelerated the unraveling at the end was. In the present day, with the Cheeto Puff and his administration who is in office right now. So this wasn't supposed to look anything like this. The plan was a structured wind down. It was some kind of transition. And instead, it turned into an abrupt shutdown almost overnight. Flights were grounded. The systems went offline. People were stranded and finding out that their flights were canceled when they got to the airport. They were originally aiming for a structured transition, like I said, but it ended up accelerating into a full downturn instead. And even that orderly wind down language, that only came after the bailout collapsed. This wasn't a long planned voluntary transition. It was very much forced by the failure of these bailout talks. That kind of acceleration should tell you something about the present day. Because yes, it's about mismanagement, but it's also about how quickly things are starting to break when they start to crack. Spirit built its entire identity on being the cheapest option. But that only works if no one else can compete with you on price. And eventually, a lot of other airlines could. And even airlines like Delta and United, they were able to close that gap in a lot of ways. And then Spirit tried to pivot into premium options with aggressive expansion, trying to compete on multiple fronts, adding international flights, etc., etc. It diluted the brand, it strained operations, and it pulled them away from their original intentions. The merger with JetBlue Airways could have been a lifeline, but it got blocked, and when it came time to keep fighting for it, JetBlue ended up walking away instead of...
Wow, that's what happened. It went down like that? That is crazy. You even have a fighting chance. That's messed up. I'm like, why would y'all sit here and just not say nothing? Keep it secret all that time. Like y'all, you said something when you're closing the door. That's when we find out, when it's too late. I'm trying to fix this title. Spirit Airlines major shutdown. Because my title was horrible. Change that. Okay, I got it. Make sure y'all follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. What's the other one? TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit. All that good stuff. All that good stuff. I'm saying why this video ain't loading, but let's play these other clips. Oh, yeah, man, it's always something. Always something going on in the neighborhood, man. 17,000 jobs. Poof, be gone just like that. Nobody know what to do.
Continuing the appeal. This matters to the story because people are leaving that portion out. Because without that deal, Spirit became so much more vulnerable. And then you layer in everything else, engine issues, grounding planes, rising costs, global instability, geopolitics, sanctions. Not all of that alone is the sole cause necessarily, but it was absolutely additional pressure on an already cracking set of operations. As things continued to crack and crack and crack, at some point, it was no longer cracking slowly and chipping away. It completely collapsed. They filed for bankruptcy twice. There were failed bailout talks, and then it was all done. 17,000 jobs were gone pretty much overnight. So let's zoom out from that. This is where my additional speculation comes in because remember, we don't look at things in a vacuum here. This is happening against a much larger backdrop of trash fire right now in the present day with the Cheeto Puff and his administration in office. This is not some small company that quietly failed. This was a major airline that everyone is aware of and has used. It is a core piece of the budget travel system and the way it
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck. This is your captain, Carlton McKenzie speaking, guy in South America. What's going on? We're looking at about a 2-hour flight time before we touch down to JFK, and oh, this is a thing from Miami. Hold on, let me put this thing on mute. Hold on. What's going on, babes? Yeah, I thinking about you since I take off. You know, you make my toes curl, every single toe curl. Hey, you nasty. You still in Miami?
Hey, was it really like that? They said Spirit Airline was so hood. Was Spirit Airline really hood like that? It's so funny. I have seen so many funny videos like that. I've never flew with them before, so I don't know. Was it giving those vibes when you're in the plane? Let's play it.
What? You still got the Airbnb to yourself? You have to turn this plane back and come back. You want me to come back? I go spin this bitch around, don't worry. No, fuck the past. This is Spirit Airlines, babe. This is like a dollar van with wings. This is not a real airline. I don't give a shit.
Oh my God. This is what I told y'all. The people that's gonna sit here and think this is funny, that this is even going on and happening. That's the crazy part. Wow.
Give a shit. I want. Listen. You could blindfold me again. You You nasty. Yo, I turn it back. I turn the plane back now. I'm coming back. Pick me up in about an hour. Pick me in an hour. I'm gonna speed up. No, I'm gonna fly faster. Hey, you kinky bad. Hey, you kinky, you nasty, you know? Huh? Alright, let me just tell these stupid people that turning back. Alright. Pick me up in an hour. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick update. We're going to have to make an emergency landing back at Miami International.
Dispatchers, mechanics, gate agents. They're here to serve you. We're here to serve you. Our passion is safety, getting you where you need to go with low fares that are very affordable, high value airline. We're passionate about what we do. We sincerely have the wherewithal to know.
That's messed up. And like they said, no accidents in 34 years. Y'all did y'all thing, Spirit. Y'all was a good company. No accident in 34 whole years. That's what I'm talking about. This is a very, very, very sad day for Spirit Airlines because we're covering this story where they have been shut down and out of business. That's what's going on, y'all, in this economy.
True, don't get sugar-coated. True, don't get sugar. Keep it real so you know we gon' be speaking on it. Got the latest headlines on what's going down.
I be telling y'all the truth.
Keep our eyes open before it all hits the ground. Southern economy, hit that light. Make sure you subscribe. Real talk, real true, real life. We go survive. I got my eyes wide open.
All this junk happening to people. Folks got bills and stuff. I don't feel like playing these games. You just wake up and your job gone.
True, don't get sugar-coated. Keep it real so you know we gon' be speaking on it.
I'ma always tell the truth.
Headlines on what's going down. We keep our eyes open before it all hits the ground. Southern economy, hit that light. Make sure you subscribe. Real talk, real true, real life. We gon' survive.
Yeah, you had to play that song. Hope y'all heard it. You had to play that song because 17,000 Americans just lost their job, man. And that's serious. That ain't no joke. Like I said, I'm going to tell y'all the truth, though. I'm going to show you the folks that's joking. I'm going to show you the folks that's serious. I'm going to do both. Both of them. Let's play this other clip.
This is a challenging time, but we're going to get through it. We have an amazing team from our CEO to senior leadership to a lot of behind the.
So they said Spirit Airlines didn't have no money. That's a lie, okay? Because Spirit Airlines was the go-to flight, all right? Going from Los Angeles to Las Vegas for $32, sometimes $28. Those flights was booked. Okay. The last minute flights, Spirit Airlines was the go-to. Okay. You had actors that's going from California to New York, New York to California, California to Atlanta. That was the last minute flights that actors actually took to get where they needed to go at the last minute, because Spirit Airline tickets was no more than what? $300-400 at the last minute round trip. So for people to say that they didn't have no money or they went into bankruptcy, I'm having a hard time comprehending that, because they were always booked. They was always up in the air. I mean, if you looked in the air, you seen about 4 or 5 of them. I mean, I'm serious. Spirit Airlines was always booked. When you call Spirit Airlines and you trying to book a ticket by 7, 8 o'clock at night, they ran out of those tickets. I'm not understanding. They ran out. They were always in Miami. It was always going to Vegas. Always in Atlanta. I'm just not understanding. I'm really not understanding. I personally think because they were so busy, they had to sit them down. I really do believe. I don't think that this administrator likes the cheap way to go. I just don't think, I really do. I really just don't think that people like for people to have the option to do the cheaper way out. Okay? They just like for people to spend money. Okay, so now you got Frontier and now you got JetBlue, which I've heard JetBlue is almost going to bankruptcy court too. They haven't been doing anything in a long time. Matter of fact, people was taking Spirit before they took JetBlue or Frontier. So I'm not understanding this about Spirit Airlines. I really don't.
Somebody in the comments say, yeah, those $30 flights took them out of business. That's what took them out. And then another lady says, people keep on saying Spirit had money because flights was cheap. Excuse me. But that was literally the problem. Spirit Airlines built this whole model on being the cheapest option. That only work if their costs stay low, especially fuel. When fuel prices go up, like with global conflicts involving oil, their costs go up fast. Bigger airlines like Delta or American can absorb that because they already charge more and offer more. Spirit can't just raise prices without losing what makes them Spirit. So now they stuck. If they raise prices, they no longer a cheap airline and now they're competing with airlines that offer better services, which they can't really win with. If they don't raise prices, they're losing money on flights. That's also why the merger situation didn't really fix things. It wasn't a clean win. It just delayed the same problem. So it's not that they didn't have money. It's that their entire business model stopped working. Once costs went up, at that point, they either cut the operation costs to survive or keep going and burn through all the money. That's why they ended up there. They could have just held on longer. Yeah, maybe. Absolutely. But the way the trajectory is going in trends, it's best to cut ties sooner rather than later. There is no path for recovery. And a lady named Jamie wrote that on TikTok. Dang, I didn't mean to stop with a lady cavity. That's fucked up.
I'm really trying to understand it, but I really do think that there's something deeper, and maybe that's just my conspiracy theory, because I just think it's something deeper. Because Spirit Airlines, I didn't too much like it, but I was on it. If I had to get where I needed to go, I was on it. I ain't had no problem up in the air on it either. They never crashed. They never had, it was just that flight. It was just that airline. So, I don't know. Just my thoughts. This is just sad. It's just a sad time. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that as of Saturday, May 2nd, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, Spirit Airlines permanently closed? Yeah, I know they was trying to get the Trump administration to help them because I think it was like over $500 million that they needed so they can stay in business. And at one point they said that Trump was going to buy the airlines. So it was going to be the first, I guess, president to own a
I don't know if any of that stuff she just said is true. I don't know about that. I doubt that at all. Because I don't want to put nothing on nobody that they didn't say. Nope.
And Mr. Secretary, just finally on Spirit Airlines, they ceased operating over the weekend. You have said that the war was not an impetus in putting Spirit out of business because they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy last summer. But the Spirit CEO said in his statement that the sudden and sustained rise in
they told everybody they did last summer. Well, y'all knew they were closing. That's crazy. Somebody said, I would have been left. But if they couldn't find nothing, that's why they were still there. That had to be why they were still there.
fuel prices ultimately left them with no alternative. Quickly, if you can.
Sure. So Spirit tried to merge with JetBlue. The Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg administration and DOJ tanked that deal. Immediately after that, they filed for bankruptcy. They were having financial problems. Martha, they filed for bankruptcy again last year. They were bleeding money. And so this was in the works for some time. They were going to have to liquidate. And so, again, I'm proud of the American Airlines that have stepped up to take care of the passengers of Spirit, making sure they can get home. The employees of Spirit have special access to apply for jobs with other American airlines. So, again, I've stepped in, worked with the CEOs, and again, this could have been chaotic. And under this administration, President Trump's leadership, there isn't chaos. There is actually a unified American approach to helping passengers and employees of Spirit navigate this crisis.
This is air traffic control. You're cleared for takeoff.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
It's the end of an era. Spirit Airlines will no longer be flying. They have been permanently grounded. They went out of business. They canceled all their scheduled flights. The customer service line is down. And I was just thinking, what if you were like on a trip out of the state, or even worse, out of the country, and you flew round trip on Spirit? Now your return flight is canceled. What do you do? It's not like you can just rebook. You flew in on Spirit. Your ticket was probably $80. You're not flying nowhere on Delta with $80. You can barely check a bag with $80. This would ruin my whole trip. Is there some type of protocol set in place for when stuff like this happens? Does travel insurance cover the cost of a new flight? Because, you know, the airline doesn't exist anymore. Do we have any Spirit flyers out there? How do you feel about this? I never flew Spirit Airlines before. When I'm booking trips, I always filter out certain airlines. So I never experienced this. But if you have, tell me what it was like in the comments.
So according to Spirit, all flights have been canceled effective immediately, leaving customers across the country stranded.
I'm traveling to Florida to go and pick up car that I bought. You know, I bought this 2006 Toyota Camry for $400. So that's what I'm going to go and pick up. So I said, let me fly quickly and go and then drive back. And then I get here now, I'm stranded, no flights, you know. The rides that I took to get here, 30 minutes ride, it costs more than my flight tickets. So that tells you everything you need to know. Now, I don't know what kind of business that they were running. All that notwithstanding, I don't know how they will refund me my $17 for the flights, so that at least I will see. Maybe I can go and book. Frontier on that side and see. Before they also go out of business. Since everybody's going out of business, they are probably next now.
Get-in losers were buying Spirit, but it's shut down because of Joe Biden. Oh, and Pete Buttigieg. Right. In a nutshell, they failed to get the $500 million bailout that they needed, and Trump has absolutely nothing to do with this. So what do we do now? Well, besides admire the internet being undefeated once again. Well, I think we're gonna try to buy Spirit. Creator Hunter Peterson created out a video and created this website essentially to have us do the Green Bay Packers model, but for Spirit Airlines. The website is letsbuyspirit.com. Before the website crashed, had $22 million pledged. Yeah, we need like $1 billion, but this is looking good. This would be unprecedented. Once they get the website up, I'll let you know, but you can pledge your vote here. The minimum pledge is a one-way ticket for Spirit Airlines, which is $45. They are taking no money right now. It's just a pledge. The website outlines everything that you need to know and how they plan on structuring this business. This is what we need more of. So if you only have $45, you get the same amount of say. Equal voting rights, you know? Because having a voice matters, and I vote. My vote is to keep the fees, but only for people that voted for Trump. But we'll put it to a vote. We'll put it to a vote. Proportional.
As of May 2nd, 2026, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Spirit Airlines ceased operations and shut down.
Yeah, I hear that.
I was a
3
flight attendant at
a.m.
Spirit Airlines.
3 a.m. shut down. No notice. Last minute. Don't tell you nothing. Just shut the doors.
For the last 25 years, up until they ceased operations and shut down. I'm heartbroken. I'm devastated. I'm now an unemployed flight attendant, and I don't know what I want to do. But I'll figure it out. Just came on here to say a couple of things. One of them is that, did y'all know that Spirit had got voted the best airline for 2026? Also, did you guys know that Spirit Airlines was considered the safest airline in the U.S.? They were the only major airline that had never had a crash or fatality. Also, the reason why fares are what they are is because of Spirit. Before Spirit came along and they changed their business model, traveling was a luxury. Now it's reachable and obtainable, so a lot of Americans can fly. I know everybody didn't agree with it, but the prices.
Let me know what y'all think down in the comments, y'all. My battery, I don't have my laptop battery. It's about to die. Till next time, keep your eyes open. I'm out.